What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nehemiah, aka Neil, and today we're going to be talking about the Portland Trailblazers. Now, I did not expect this team to be this good early on, and yes, you could definitely say something like, "Oh, this team is always going to be good because it has Damian Lillard," or you could say something like, "They haven't had the hardest schedule. You know, they played the Lakers, even though they did play the Suns and they did play the Nuggets. They did look really good against every single one of those games, and they played the Kings. I think, yeah." I think two of those were definitely a given one. But man, this team is actually surprising a lot of people, including me. So let's just talk about it. First off, this dude Damian Lillard is like something else, man. He's just something else. He's single-handedly putting this team on his back. And yeah, you could say something like, oh, well, Jeremy Grant and Dudu Anthony Simons are also doing really good. But Dame has just carried a lot of our offensive love. And that's actually really good for this team so far. Okay, at their defensive rating too. They're actually really good right now. They're actually oh shoot. They're actually the sixth and ninth best defensive and offensive rating. So that's actually pretty cool. Especially for my Trailblazers team that really did struggle with defense as of late. You know, I think that them getting rid of Rocco was actually a really good idea, especially when they got Jeremy Grant instead. Definitely pretty solid. And keep in mind, this is still without Gary Payton II, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So I think that this is definitely going to improve. That being said, I don't know what type of minutes he's going to play because Josh Hart is already at the small forward position, and he's not really a small forward, but you know, I guess it'll work out eventually. I don't know. But looking at pretty much the rest of this roster, man, I think Justice Winslow is also a really good defender, at least given what he is. But looking at the rest of this roster, we just got a bunch of young talent. If not young talent, just like younger talent than Damian Lillard. And that we've never really seen before. Even a guy like Yusuf Nurkic, he's around the same age as Nikola Jokic, which is kind of crazy. I, I really do think that this team does have a lot on its hands that really could just benefit it later on. And not only that, but I think that this team just has a bunch of willing passers, especially when it comes to the whole thing. Even after Damian Lillard, they all are able to average like 3, 4, or 5 assists, even if they weren't the primary ball handler throughout the most of the offense. So yeah, that's gonna be really good. Now, in my opinion, if you were to ask me what I'm thinking about this roster so far, do I expect this to hold up? Now, let's look at their schedule a little bit. Skirt, it'll be over here. So again, they're on a win streak. Now they're going against Miami, the Houston Rockets, and then the Memphis Grizzlies, and then the Phoenix. Oh my God, they're playing the Phoenix Suns like throughout the first 3 weeks. That's so crazy. But looking at the Miami Heat, bro, they're not doing good right now, and I don't want to go into it because I think that this deserves its own video, depending on how long this is lasting. But Bam is disappointing me. He was actually on my top 20, and I'm probably still going to make my top 20 based off of last season going into this season. But Bam definitely would fall off if he's still going to play like this, because this is unacceptable, honestly. Kyle Lowry's not Kyle Lowry's not here, bro. Like, I don't know. Tyler Hero has actually been a lot better than I would have given him credit for. You know, him shooting this well from two is a really good sight, actually. I could actually maybe go into the playoffs, but outside of that, like, they don't have that much scores, man, and it's really bad. How bad is their offense right now? Yeah, they're the 27th offense, man, and their defense is not much better. I do expect number to go up though, but still, man, it's just looking really bad for this team. The one win that they got was a really close nail biter against the Toronto Raptors, and they almost gave up that lead. But besides that, they just had embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss, man. And they actually lost against the Toronto Raptors that next game, man. I do think that this team still does struggle with a lot of the other stuff that they struggle with, which is size and essentially rebounding. They cannot grab a board to save their damn life. Like, goddamn. But yeah, essentially everything has been going downhill for this team for the last couple of seasons. So it's really bad. Like, there's only one plus sign in terms of all of this. Well, there's two actually. There's one at the free throw and there's one at the 2 point. Besides that, they've essentially just been down all across the board, and you don't want to see that. So I think that the Portland Trailblazers could take care of them. The Houston Rockets, we know about the Houston Rockets. And then the Memphis Grizzlies, I really do expect them to at least put up a fight against this team. The reason why, Ja Morant is like, I don't know what we could call Ja Morant at this point because he's actually one of the best players on this planet right now. If you were to ask me right now how I would rank him, and before you guys say recency bias, this is quite literally just based off of these last 4 games. Off of these last 4 games, and maybe a couple seasons ago, like the 2022 season, I would definitely say that this dude is like a top 8, 9 ish player in the NBA. I would say that he leaped a guy like Paul. Well, I already had him above a guy like Paul George, but I would definitely say like Jimmy Butler. I think that he may have taken the leap against him, and even a guy like Trae Young. I think that he's just taken a big ass scoring leap that not a lot of people are talking about. Like him shooting 53% from two is wild. Yes, he takes a lot of rim shots, but that's what you really want. Rim shots. You want to create a lot of rim pressure. He's doing that, and that's what you really want. Desmond Bane has had a very slow start to the season from two, but he's still making a lot of threes, and especially with that last game against Brooklyn, he's been doing a lot. Now, that being said, I don't think that this team outside of Ja Morant is really that special, and even Desmond Bane, like their defense is actually like, well, let me be fair to this team actually. Their defense being this low is mostly attributed to this game where they just kind of fell apart against the Dallas Mavericks. If it wasn't for that, they'd probably be around probably like the middle of the pack range. That and Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to come back. He's probably going to come back. So this was in June, so it's probably going to come back next month, if not the month after, which is going to be a really good sight to see. And I do expect him when he comes back, he's going to be really, really solid. Danny Green is probably not going to play the whole season. And Zaire Williams, I think that he's going to play soon, but I don't know. But regardless of that, I think that this team does have enough to at least contend with the Portland Trailblazers. Now, as to how I think that this is going to keep up for the rest of the season, I don't know. However, what I would say now is that I do expect this team to at least be a play-in team. And I know they're already 4-0. You're probably going to be like, oh, well, how are they going to drop all the way down? Remember last year how the Washington Wizards were 10-3 at the very beginning of the season? Same thing could happen here. Now, I would say that the Washington Wizards, there was a lot that actually went on with that whole squad. Bradley Beal got injured, and after that, they just all fell apart. That whole team also got COVID. I like very vividly remember that, and I do expect that if this were to happen to this team, it would be something similar where like Damian Lillard or Anthony Simons does have like a major injury, and then they just fall off a cliff. But I don't expect that to happen because one, I don't expect that for the worst, and two, I feel like this team has a lot of offense, even without one of those two, that they could probably just put up a lot of points. I think that this team is able to put up a lot of points and still be able to defend at a reasonable level, you know? Yes, it's very early on in the season, and it's really hard to determine whether or not this is what you really are actually going to get. But look at this, bro. Like, they just have a lot. Also, Shaedon Sharp is one of the, like, he's a really good rookie, man. Yes, he's only averaging 6.8 points, but like, bro, he's one of the most athletic rookies. He's able to put up a decent amount of points, at least for the time that's being given to him. And yeah, Josh Hart is also giving him enough of like the small forward minutes for them to actually do really good. So that's pretty solid. Is there anything else though? I think that this is it pretty much for this team. But yeah, if I were to do a power rankings right now, this is I already did a power rankings before the Denver Nuggets game, and I would say that this team wasn't in my top 5, but now I would definitely say that this team is definitely in my top 5. I forgot who it was, a New Orleans Pelicans, actually. I would definitely have them over the New Orleans Pelicans, at least for right now, because Damian Lillard has just he's just having an electric start to the season. Same with Ja Morant, and it's just hard for me to ignore them. So yeah, it's been your boy Nehemiah, aka Neo, and I hope you guys are having a great one.